Mr. President, distinguished delegates, today, here in the General Assembly, in the world's parliament, countries of principle and conscience, peace-loving nations stood up and proved that the international community has not forsaken humanity, has not forfeited international law as the universal rules they apply to all, has not forsaken the promise, the purposes and principles of the United Nations, and has not abandoned the Palestinian people in these darkest hours, nor forsaken their just cause for freedom and justice. We are grateful to all the countries that voted in support of the draft resolution tabled by Jordan and co-sponsored by 46 countries, expressing by an overwhelming majority support for this unequivocal call for an immediate humanitarian truce, for a halt to all attacks on civilians, for the protection of civilians, for compliance with international law, including humanitarian and human rights law, including the release of all civilians held captive, and has called for immediate and unimpeded humanitarian assistance that is so desperately needed by our people in the Gaza Strip, where Israel not only continues its aggression, but is escalating its indiscriminate and savage attacks on innocent Palestinian children, women, men, as we speak. The occupying power has launched its ground invasion in the darkest of Gaza, where it has cut electricity, internet, and all communications. And yet, here, there are still some who refuse to equally and unequivocally condemn these war crimes and crimes against humanity being perpetrated by Israel. But today, we will not focus on such a regrettable stance. We will focus on the unequivocal message this August Assembly has sent to our people that the overwhelming majority of the people of the world stand with you, stand with the people in the Gaza Strip. They bear witness to your suffering. They feel your pain, and they have not forgotten you and will not forsake you. So we express our sincere appreciation to our sisters and brothers in the Arab group under the leadership of Jordan, our sisters and brothers in the OIC under the leadership of Mauritania, for their unwavering solidarity and efforts to ensure the adoption of this important and principled resolution, of this vital resolution, as the Security Council regrettably remains deadlocked, failing to uphold its charter duty to maintain international peace and security. And we thank all our sisters and brothers, yes, sisters and brothers from every region of the world, for their principled support in favor of the resolution on protection of civilians and upholding legal and humanitarian obligations. That is the true aim of this resolution. We are one in seeking an end to the killing, the trauma and terror, the destruction. This, of course, is not something that the representative of the occupying power will ever understand. He still comes here to this world body after it has clearly spoken and said, enough bullying and inciting, trying to force everyone to accept their twisted criminal definition of the self-defense, i.e. to massacre civilians and destroy a people. There is no such right in this world, not legally, not politically, not morally. There will never be. This is the message that was sent today by the General Assembly to him and anyone else who is attempting to rewrite international law, including the laws meant to protect civilians, including those occupied and oppressed, blockaded and besieged, and persecuted for so long. This is the reality of the Palestinian people. This is the reality that we appeal to you to not lose sight of and to act now to give meaning to the resolution adopted today with immediate practical efforts to secure a humanitarian truce that will lead to a cessation of hostilities and that will secure to our suffering people in Gaza the humanitarian aid they need. It is a catastrophic situation that requires immediate action. Work now together to save civilian lives. It is deplorable, inhumane, unforgettable that over 7,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed by Israel. Among them, over than 3,500 children. This is a crime against humanity. The world cannot stand by and watch as more innocent civilian lives are taken. In these grave hours, as Israel has launched today its ground invasion of Gaza, we cannot hesitate to act together, swiftly and responsibly, to bring an end to this criminal and barbaric Israeli aggression. Listen to the Secretary General. This is a moment of truth. Listen to the Commissioner General of UNRWA, who has lost over 50 staff members in this aggression. Gaza is becoming the graveyard of a population trapped between war, siege, and deprivation. That's what the Commissioner General of UNRWA stated. Do not let this happen. You have to stop it. We have to stop it, all of us. Listen to the cries of Palestinian mothers and fathers and children calling for an end to their oppression. Listen to the billions of people around the world calling for an end to this injustice. Listen to the millions in the streets call for humanity to prevail. Listen to every single country in our region and so many around the world who have taken principled positions here. Listen to your conscience. And if that is not enough, listen to those who warn you about where this will lead if not stopped. Lastly, Mr. President, we must act now to support the courageous service of the humanitarian workers on the ground, the staff of UNRWA, OCHA, UNICEF, WFP, and other UN agencies, as well as the ICRC and our own Palestinian Red Crescent, and Palestinian doctors, nurses, and medics working round the clock to save lives. We pay special tribute to the Palestinian National Staff of UNRWA and other humanitarian agencies working to care for their brothers and sisters, and to our journalists insisting to tell the world the truth of what is happening in Gaza and all over Palestine. Even though their lives are also directly threatened and targeted by the Israeli aggression, they insist to choose life over death. That is the Palestinian ethos that carries us through even in these darkest of times. We want life now, justice now, freedom now. We want peace now. Enough is enough. And also, I want to give special thanks and tribute to the principled, humane, and passionate position of our President, the President of the General Assembly, who have conducted our deliberation with humanity, with principles, with professionalism. We give him our salutation and gratitude. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
This has been the Nod News Network. Transmission complete.